The flyers of ARK Survival Evolved. There's a few of them, all offering an opportunity to open the maps and traverse at a safer distance to the death awaiting on the ground. Flyers are without question a must for playing ARK and getting around maps, but while some offer more than just this, which one offers the things you want most to be the best flyer in ARK? You're right kids, it's Raasclark, and before we begin, I do need to point out one thing: gliders. Being a controversial topic within this experiment, the arguments for them deserving to make the list certainly outweigh them not to be, but I'll allow you to judge and overlook as we make our way through this list. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share around, and let's get into it. So in at number 10, the Taranadun, the OG flyer. Seen by most to be your first entry into the sky, and easily so, with it being entirely possible to bowler and club to knock out. Though will require more for higher levels, should be bowlered with it fleeing at the first sign of trouble. Being small, relatively weak but nimble in the air, it's recommended to pump that stam if it's your first flyer, slightly helped by feeding them stimberries or stimulants. And like most flyers on this list, the jump key will allow you to fly or land with the Taranadun, able to pick smaller creature and players, and offers a barrel roll, offering a short speed boost and increased damage at the cost of stamina. It's, in my opinion, the go-to first flyer in ARK, able to open up the world and offer you a quicker progression, especially in the case of stealing those first Wyvern eggs. And it doubles as a great throwaway scout and drop runner too, just don't depend on it against harder hitting flyers, unless you're a pretty good picker. In at number 9, the Quetzal, the Sky Base. The once largest flying creature used to be an incredibly difficult tame, up until the recent arrival of net projectiles, now making these an incredibly easy tame and worth owning. Possessing a platform saddle, Quetzals can be used for a manner of purposes, not least an airbase, draining very little stamina and able to hold a small base worth on its back. With a fantastic weight stat, it was seen as a great gathering companion, multitasking your best gatherers to farm those hard to reach areas. And with a huge pool of health, doubles as a great sky tank, able to tank plenty of damage, even block bullets if built correctly, and can be used as a mobile platform to shoot mounted turrets from, though this can be a bit glitchy. And lest we forget, can pick most creatures in the game, able to transport them to safe areas. Since the introduction of other creatures or TLC updates on this list though, I do think it's a lesser requirement nowadays, being a must-have during Legacy days, but it's without question the best road in my opinion to tame a Titanosaur, or even an Astrocetus as per my recent guide. In at number 8, the Voidworm, the Tech Wyvern. Covered often on this channel being a new addition to the flying roster, the Voidworm is without question a difficult tame, owed to not only its requirement of mutagen, farmed via either the space void rotation and crafting from mutagel, which can be found within Rockwell's innards as well, or farmed naturally in the same area, encountering hell on Earth. You'll then be required to reduce its health to a fraction, known by its stopping animation and blue thruster fire, enabling you to ride it and initiate a minigame very similar to an Equus. Once tamed, you'll possess the highest level wild 2-tamed Wyvern available, offering you a 285 leveled creature, with of course more points rolled into stats. Though it has to be said, from a breath attack perspective, this is perhaps the poorest Wyvern for damage. It counters though with a shockwave that can stun and dismount players, as well as being a great choice for damaging tech. And being a Wyvern variant offers all of the pros one does, flying at great speeds for long distances, picking creatures up to the size of a stego, one of the strongest bite attacks around, and a wing flap that not only knocks back enemies, but doubles as a great harvesting choice on trees, with burnt trees offering instant charcoal. Despite its advantages, it's surprising to see this voted so highly, but perhaps that's owed to the abilities offered being more diverse than any other Wyvern. In at number 7, the Meiwing, the bounteous teated nursing companion. The first controversial entry being in all senses a glider, it counters with perhaps being the fastest in the air, travelling at incredible speeds that can be almost juggled into a feeling of flying, leaping to insane heights to glide from. An incredibly easy tame with the arrival of net projectiles, the Meiwing is much more than an air traversing creature, acting as a feeding trough for baby creatures when nursing mode is activated, increasing its trough range when levelling nursing effectiveness, and when equipped with a saddle can carry and steal up to 4 baby creatures at any stage, with them staying in the respective baskets until adult. Above all else, they are your go-to for kibble, able to produce any type of egg at variable chances, extraordinary being 2.5%, making them the only kibble-making creatures you're ever going to need. It's easy to see why the Meiwing was voted in, offering a multitude of abilities, not least its lack of oxygen and speed underwater also. Certainly not one for combat, it's a must-have for exploration and progression. In at number 6, the Astrodelphi, the Star Dolphin. Somewhat dubbed a glass cannon, mobility alone positions this Astrocetus relative. However, it will be a chore to achieve, with not only a passive requirement of element to tame, needing to chase, pet and feed an increasing amount, but unlocking its saddle needing a character of 120 or higher. However, once unlocked, you've gained the ultimate dogfighter, switching between 2 modes of flight with its thrusters, allowing for fast travel and aerial mobility throughout the skies. With grenades and element equipped, the Astrodelphi becomes a raging bull of fire, offering a laser cannon, homing energy blasts, explosive shells and EMP-like effects, causing some tech creatures to freeze, doubling into an echolocation underwater. On killing anything offers bonus damage resistance and movement for 60 seconds, buffed further for another 40 seconds if repeated. Being an incredible versatile flyer, especially in combat, it's easy to see this voted so highly, only let down by its requirements to even fly one. In at number 5, the Tropical Crystal Wyvern. Middle of the field, the Tropical Crystal Wyvern is by far the easiest tame on this list, being passively tamed with crystals and nothing else apart from a minimum level of 65, easily achieved with note runs, and a reason why it hit the top 10 beginner creatures video. Again, like the Voidworm, possesses all of the generic Wyvern functions, and whilst perhaps doesn't possess one of the best breath attacks, it counters with a water buff, improving its speed and making this the fastest Wyvern available. And perhaps that's the reason for making the cut, being an easily tamed Wyvern with fantastic movement and all of the joys a Wyvern can offer. In at number 4, the Rock Drake, the all-purpose glider. And our second controversial vote, offering no possibility to reach the skies, but of course countered with a wealth of abilities and why you voted this as your top creature of all time. Whilst its ability to glide puts it at a disadvantage against other flyers, its ability to pounce at great speeds, dive incredibly fast and swim underwater, able to launch back out into a glide and of course scale at any degree of angle, puts this as more of an all-terrain travel choice. Of course, obtaining one is the challenge, requiring a deep dive into the pits of aberration, stealing an egg and getting out alive to raise one, lest we forget lacking any breeding possibilities, one of the most requested TLC features today. But once owned, you are in possession of a hard-hitting creature with an incredible bite, superb carry weight, a stealthy scouter rendering itself barely visible and certainly invisible to wilds, a seeker for reapers with its hair standing on end in the presence of one, and of course a requirement to tame basilisks, not forgetting both Drake, Magmasaur and Voidworm eggs can now all be used. Not forgetting of course its tech saddle, offering a great mobile elemental turret. It's without question a versatile mount for all possibilities, and by far the go-to choice for traversing Gen 1 and Aberration, with no permanent flyers allowed on these maps. In at number 3, the Snow Owl, the Sky Predator. Getting into the highest voted creatures now, the Snow Owl is certainly a great choice for the skies. Despite not being able to pick up much but more than a Taranadun, it travels at fairly high speeds, enhanced with a swooping glide that can improve with imprinting. Of course, its other abilities may have pushed this to a high spot, being both a damage dealer and a helpful healer, able to freeze itself and anything around it for about 3 seconds, offering an 88% resistance buff and healing in the process if continued, and certainly a help with some wilds that are killed too easy, that need to be tamed. Of course, it doubles up as the only auto-fertilizer, spewing out snow owl pellets when defecating, providing a slightly lesser but of course easier to obtain fertilizer. Voted highly must be because of its abilities on top of its quite incredible glide, boosted if timed right, and offering a thermal vision scout ability, able to pinpoint any would-be hiding enemies. In at number 2, the Griffin, the first unofficial flyer to grace ARK, and what a flyer! It's great to see this so highly voted, and I fully agree, it's without question a fantastic PvP flyer, and certainly a great taming companion. Whilst only able to pick around the same as Taranadun's, its dive bomb when mastered not only becomes a fantastic method of travel, but when pulled with a horizontal attack can execute damage up to 15 times its landing attack, and stretches wide, devastating against wilds and especially wyverns. Able to carry 2 riders, both who can use their weapons whilst flying, makes it a great tool to shoot from whilst being able to fly away at the first sign of trouble. And being so mobile makes it a great choice for chasing and shooting whilst at aim, able to strafe also. Easy enough to be tamed, I can fully agree with these being kings of the sky when mastered, only let down by a lack of saddle, but plenty of health and strength to make up for it. And before we get to number 1, let's just have a quick look at the creatures that came so very close, including every vote when counted, with some interesting suggestions. So here it is in at number 1, the Argentavis. Winning by an extraordinary milestone, the Argy could be argued to be one of the top most valuable creatures in the entire game due to their expansive versatility. Even a single rather low level or unspecialised Argent can serve numerous purposes. However, if one is to truly experience all of the uses that the Argent has to offer, it's recommended that multiple are tamed and levelled to fit a specific task. Once equipped with a saddle, you've got access to your very own mobile flying smithy, able to craft anything you can in one. But of course, when coupled with an Anki or pick, becomes the go-to choice for metal runs, offering a 50% reduction, and your best choice to grinding to the base of your dreams. Despite it being rather slow, its high health, damage and rapid regeneration buffs makes it a tanky flying hunter. Even further stun locking Alpha Raptors or Carnos, and impacts can be a serious force to reckon with, able to take down most formidable enemies. Less forgetting its ability to pick up a wide range of creatures, less so than a Quetzal, but can carry smaller creatures within its peak, and is able to attack and kill anything within its grasp, viced within a path to death. Somewhat surprising, it's hard to argue the Argy's purposes within the game makes it a must-have for the skies. Just don't expect it to win any dogfights unless it has an Argy entourage, in which case I'd proceed with caution. And that completes the list. I hope you enjoyed this. Did you learn anything or do you disagree? What more top 10s would you like to see? Drop a comment below, let me know. My name's Raasclark. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and as always, peace out.